because Trump won because of the Electoral College. The Republicans now are trying to dismantle the Electoral College, and the Democrats were pissed when Trump won with the Electoral College, but now they're praising the Electoral College. It makes no sense.
Yep.
God is not the author of confusion.
Yep.
Makes no sense. Hey, let's go to the next video, man. Because the scientists are saying that this is a weird thing. So it has to be driven, like he's saying, politicized, monetized. It has to be something driving it, bigger behind it. Let's see what this scientist says on this video.
8 billion of us on Earth wish for a vaccine for COVID-19. Around the world, political leaders, sweating on getting us to the other side of the pandemic, promise it'll happen within 12 to 18 months. But hang on a minute, vaccines normally take decades to formulate, and quite often success never comes. So why should we be so optimistic now? As Liam Bartlett finds out, some scientists say talk of a coronavirus vaccine is not only raising false hope, it's fake news.
A safe vaccine, available to all, affordable to all.
It's the great hope galvanising the world. A vaccine for COVID-19.
It's humanity against the virus.
We can't get back to full normal until we develop vaccines.
For a planet and its population in lockdown, it's our one sure way back to normal.
Our best and brightest medical minds and researchers are working tirelessly.
But are we being sold a lie? After all, COVID-19 is the 7th coronavirus to strike mankind, and we've never found a vaccine for any of them.
We are very confident that we're going to have a vaccine at the end of the year.
To quote a famous president, it's fake news. The shortest time anybody's ever found a vaccine against any disease that I'm familiar with is about 7 years. The average time is 20. To be talking about a magic bullet coming in months it borders on the absurd.
So he telling us straight up, it's an absurd thought to think that the coronavirus can happen in this way and that you could come up with a vaccine in months.
Don't normally they test it on monkeys or rats or something like that, animals or something?
Right, yeah.
They ain't even give it time to do that. So I'm not sure about that.
And the 45 people that they said they gave it to, I think more than half of them ended up with lockjaw. What is the
Bell's palsy?
Bell's palsy.
The Bell's palsy.
What was it called? Temporary paralysis.
Temporary paralysis.
Right.
Almost like you got a stroke, but it's not really a stroke.
Yeah.
Right.
Just imagine, so somebody, 45 people sitting out there, they hit you with that needle and you like, you lock up.
Lock up like
right.
that.
Like what?
Come on now, dog.
Right. Hey, let this play a little bit more.
The best places.
Professor Arthur Kaplan is Director of Medical Ethics at New York University.
I'm not saying don't spend the money. I'm not saying don't do the research. But we can't plan public policy on a miracle.
Right now, there are about 100 medical teams around the world, including Australia, chasing that miracle, the holy grail of a COVID vaccine. Surely one of them will find it.
Look, viruses are very clever. We have no AIDS vaccine right now. We've been looking for that for more than 25 years. There's no vaccine for hepatitis C. Even the flu vaccine we've got, which we've been working on for decades, is about 40% effective in a good year. There's no guarantee we will find something to beat this virus. But the idea that just because a lot of teams work on this, it's going to give somebody the breakthrough, that doesn't follow.
So pause right there. Pause right there. He said it does not mean that they're going to find a breakthrough for this virus. And he makes some other statements in here, if you watch it, further in. But he makes some other statements, and besides the one that he made, he said the soonest that he's ever seen any vaccine come up for a serious pandemic like this is 7 years. Typically, 20 years is what it's taken, to come up with it. And he said that there are of the either 7 or 9 other coronaviruses, they've never found a
Yeah,
vaccine.
he said
for
there
it.
was 6 others that came before this.
6
And
others.
they didn't have, there was no vaccine for any of them
No.
before that.
So what are they talking about? This vaccine is gonna be cool.
Right. You know what, too, officer? It's COVID-19 is real.
Yes.
It's real.
Yes.
And a lot of our people has lost loved ones. A lot of our people have caught it and been scared to death.
Right.
So it's real. The thing is that they play so many games, we can never trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing we can do is put our trust in the Lord.
That's right.
That's all we can really do, and
That's
be
right.
secure in that.
That's right.
And that goes back to the scripture about the sound mind. Is if you have a sound mind, you're going to understand that there are certain common sense things that you can do to make sure that you're in good health. How about burn the fat?
Burn the fat.
How about burn the fat? How about
Burn the
how
fat.
about using these times that we in, of these plagues, of the plagues that we in, to make sure that your health is right. Make sure that you have certain safeguards in place, like how about life insurance?
Right.
How about the basic things like that?
That's right.
While we're talking about health,
a will.
how about a will?
That's right. That's
Get
right.
that in James 4 real quick while I'm thinking about it. Get that in James chapter 4. James chapter 4, verse, I think it's maybe the last verse.
Let's see. Therefore,
Verse 15.
15.
Verse 13.
the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 13. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow.
So James said, go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow, we're going to go buy this, we're going to go buy that, I'm going to go to the store, yo, we're going to go shopping, yo, babe, let's hit the mall, whatever the case is, right? He said, whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow, meaning you don't know what's coming tomorrow. Right? Go ahead.
For what is your life?
He said, what is your life?
It is even a vapor.
He said, your life is but a vapor. Just like the wind, here today, what?
Gone
60,
tomorrow.
not even 60, in the blink of an eye.
Right.
You'll catch that wind on the back of your neck, it's gone.
Shadow.
Right.
A shadow. Go ahead.
It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away.
You see that? Go ahead.
For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will.
So you should say, if it be the Lord's will,
We shall live and do this or that.
we shall live and do this or that. So in not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, you may end up catching whatever virus. You may end up catching COVID or whatever flu or swine flu, birds flu, whatever the case is. Guess what? The Lord is saying, while you got today, today you need to be preparing.
That's right.
Prepare your household. Prepare your health. Prepare yourself first and foremost. Prepare your house. Like you mentioned, how about a will? How about life insurance to make sure that the family's taken care of?
That's right.
Because tomorrow's but a vapor. Like you mentioned, yes, brothers and sisters have passed away. Was it from COVID or not? Who knows?
Who
'Cause,
knows?
You know, they doing all kind of false stuff in the medical industry. So
Right.
you know, Lord knows.
Right.
All we know is brothers and sisters have passed away.
Right.
But guess what? There are things that you can do today to make sure that your family is set up.
That's
See,
right.
hey,
That's
man,
right.
Let me get another scripture. Give me Sirach 34 and start at verse 13, because we mentioned earlier that they try to use all these fear tactics, because the person probably got in a car accident and they labeled it as COVID. He died of COVID. You know what I mean? This man, 86 years old, well, he probably could have died of old age. No, he died of
Right.
COVID. So now you got the numbers of COVID going up and up. Now people
Right.
is terrified.
Right.
I mean, they doing this by popular persuasion. They trying to put fear in our people.
Right. Right. It's propaganda.
Read what you got, officer.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 13. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live.
So that's who we're supposed to fear, the Most High.
That's
so we
right.
can continue living through
That's
this COVID,
right.
through this pandemic. Read.
For their hope is in him that saveth them.
So that's what we put our hope in, not in this vaccine, but in the Most High.
That's
it.
right.
That's it.
That's right. Let it play a little bit more.
the whole world working on it. So this is not a disease that is a neglected disease. Everybody and their brother is working on it, right? So there's about 100 vaccines that people are looking at very hard right now. I think one of them will work.
The University of Alabama is one of the front runners in the race for a vaccine.
All right, cut it right
Professor.
there. I brought that in for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The University of Alabama is a forerunner for the vaccine. So they were working hard. They said it was about 100 people that were trying, but Alabama was in that mix. And you have to stop and think, why would Alabama be in that mix?
Mm-hmm.
Because Alabama is, I mean, even in America, we don't talk about Alabama like that. I mean,
Right.
except
Outside
for
of football.
Right, outside of
college
football,
football,
nobody
that's it.
talks about
Right.
Alabama like that. So that's odd. Okay, let's go out of this because we want to bring something to remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go down. Let's go down, and there is a video called The Descendants of. Yes, sir, those older gentlemen.
Bring it out.
Yep. Pause that real quick. Alabama has been known for doing the types of things that she just said, looking for vaccines or experimental things. Let's see what Alabama was famous for.
Through candles and song, loved ones remember their relatives who were subject to a cruel medical experiment at the hands of the United States government.
They were never told that they had the disease.
For 40 years, starting in 1932, medical workers withheld treatment for hundreds of unsuspecting black men infected with syphilis. The purpose? So doctors could track the ravages of the horrid illness and dissect their bodies afterward in what became known as the Tuskegee study.
And for the sake of science,
Pause it real quick.
they
used us as human guinea pigs.
Sheesh.
That's what they used us as. Human guinea pigs.
Right.
He said they withheld treatment so that they could dissect their bodies later.
Right. Right.
You mean to tell me there ain't no damn monkeys or zebras or whatever that y'all could have tested that on?
Right.
That's what they think we are.
Right.
To this day.
Right. To
That's,
this
who-
day.
that's what they think we are.
Yes.
They got more respect for dogs than they do for us.
Right.
It's been proven.
Literally. Literally.
Mike Vick.
Matter of fact, go to Nehemiah real quick.
Yes, sir.
Go to
Bring
Nehemiah
it out.
chapter 9, verse 37.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 9 and verse 37.
Read the top of verse 36.
Verse 36. Behold, we are servants this day.
You see that? That's what they consider us as.
Exactly.
right.
They consider us as cattle, as servants, as slaves.
Still.
Remember the Edomite that we played last week?
Yes, last week. Uh-huh.
When she said that they revert back and you can't talk to me because
Right.
they don't see us as nothing more than a servant.
Exactly.
Still
They don't
the
see us
same.
as nothing more than a slave.
Right.
To this
It's
day.
nothing different to this
Right.
day in 2020.
Right.
It said, behold, we are servants this day. Jump down to verse 37.
Verse 37. And it yieldeth much increase unto the kings, whom thou hast set over us.
So guess what? The Lord set all these other nations over us, first and foremost being Esau, the so-called white man.
Mm-hmm.
So when it says that they set them over us, that's the only reason you would be able to inject anything.
Right.
in.
Right.
So first and foremost, okay, they got the injection. He said, the Lord said, I've set another nation over you. Go ahead.
Mhm. Whom thou hast set over us because of our sin.
He said, because of our sin is the reason why now we have syphilis injected into us.
Right.
Read on.
Also, they have dominion over our bodies.
God said,
Woo.
Esau would have dominion
That's
over
a
our
cold
bodies.
precept.
God
Yeah.
said they would have dominion over our bodies. Go back a couple of seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Go back about 10 seconds. This is 10 seconds. That means go to 15. This is proof right here that the Bible is a true book.
That's right.
Bring it
Go
out.
back maybe 5 more seconds and then play from that.
The United States government.
They were never told that they had the disease.
For 40 years, starting in 1932, medical workers withheld treatment for hundreds of unsuspecting black men
Pause.
infected with syphilis. The purpose.
For 40 years.
40
years, you go without treatment. 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
You go without treatment. Man, they withheld. This is from the government.
Right.
We're not talking about no low-level hospital somewhere in the country somewhere. We talking about the U.S. government, Babylon the Great. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Withheld treatment from these brothers. Go ahead.
For hundreds of unsuspecting black men infected with syphilis. The purpose, so doctors could track the ravages of the horrid illness and dissect their bodies afterward in what became known as the Tuskegee study.
And for the sake of science, they sacrificed some human beings. And it raised the question, did they really believe these men were human beings? And so we really wonder about their intention as well as their behavior.
The Associated Press exposed the study in 1972, leading to its end.
It is against everything our country stands for.
And 20 years ago this May, President Bill Clinton
If y'all, listen, if y'all dumb enough to believe this devil talking about that's against it, are you serious? Was this not the same people that placed smallpox blankets
Exactly.
Right.
on the Northern Kingdom?
Right.
You said, come on now.
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That is thread into the fabric of this country.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The destruction of the nation of Israel is bred into the fabric. It is in the DNA of this country.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
exposed the study in 1972, leading to its end.
It is against everything our country stands for.
And 20 years ago this May, President Bill Clinton apologized for the U.S. government.
What the United States government did was shameful, and I am sorry.
Pause, because they're going to clap for. Here's what's crazy. At this time, they had just started the AIDS HIV epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
They had just started that epidemic. And again, that's one of those viruses that has been around now for 40 years that they could have very easily come up with a vaccine for. And in fact, there's some evidence to suggest that they do have one, right? But they just, don't put it out. But again, we're looking at 40 years down the line, HIV, but he's sitting there apologizing for something that took place 40 years, well, more than 40 years before. At that point, I think it's 60 years in 97, 65. But he's apologizing for it finally. But look at AIDS, HIV right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there is pure evidence to show that they put AIDS, HIV into Africa for the sake of testing it on black bodies to see how it would ravage.
Yeah.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.